Chris, how are you, brother? Dax, nice to meet you.
Thank y'all for having me.
Oh, so excited. You smell delightful.
Hi.
Were you offered everything? Do you want coffee?
That's fine. I try to drink a gallon a day. Between working out and then Sickle Cell.
No, a gallon a day?
Wow.
How do you break that up?
Carrying a gallon jug of water.
You do?
Yeah.
And would people ask you questions when you got the gallon?
It's funny you said that because I used to be embarrassed when I first started, but I knew it was the most convenient and efficient way for me to get what I needed in me.
Yeah.
And so after a while, I got past it because it was a conversation starter.
Right. I carried around a gallon of water in high school. It is the most hillbilly thing I ever did. We had well water, and I didn't like anyone else's water, so everywhere I went, I had a fucking gallon of water in high school. It looked so bizarre. And people hate well water.
What does it taste like?
It's like more minerally, you know? Like you can taste it more.
Yeah.
You had only city water?
So I try not to drink tap water at all because I went so long of drinking nothing but tap water.
Oh, yeah, prison water?
Exactly.
It's even darker than tap water.
Yeah, so, but I know what you mean because when I drink beet juice, I feel like I can taste the earth. And I like to drink it on purpose because it helps with the red blood cells and me having sickle cell. So, you know.
Yeah. Explain sickle cell to everybody.
Sickle cell anemia is a genetic mutation that the body was attempting to adapt to malaria and prevent from having to deal with the effects of malaria. And so it affects mainly people from Mediterranean areas or African descent. You have to be born with it because it's genetic.
Yeah.
You have to be born with it. And I have the form that is called SC. You have SS and you have SC. Each form affects the patients totally different. But what sickle cell is, simple and plain. Your red blood cells go from a circle shape to a sickle shape. And that hook form of your blood cells makes them get clogged and occluded in your veins, which makes your body hurt. Imagine your blood not flowing, not pumping. It's like you got oil clogged up in your engine. Your engine is going to get to coughing. Your muffler is going to get to letting out black smoke. But this is happening with your body.
Yeah.
And sickle cell is interesting in that instead of being dominant or recessive, it's co-dominant. So if mom has the healthy gene and dad has this co-dominant sickle cell, you can make a split. Normally, one gene's going to be prevalent and you'll make all sickle, all normal. But this one allows you to make some sickled and some non. And when people have both of those recessive and then they make an only sickle cell, then they're really in trouble,
Exactly. Because you can have the trait, and the trait, you don't have the full disease, but you can still have some of the consequences, as he was just saying. And that's what Dax was explaining. But when you have the full disease, it's because both parents had the trait, such as my case. Both of my parents had the trait, so I got the full disease.
Thank you to our presenting sponsor, HP, for supporting this episode. Parents, you've got enough on your back-to-school list right now. Ink cartridges do not need to be on it. They just don't. The HP Smart Tank printer uses a refillable ink tank and comes with up to 3 years of ink included. It's the last printer you'll ever need. To learn more, search HP Smart Tank. I didn't realize until reading your book that you can have spells of it. Like it comes on and goes off. Like you have different periods where it's kind of what we would think of as inflamed.
Yeah.
What causes those and how long do those periods last?
So in the lexicon and parlance of people that's dealing with it, we call them attacks.
Okay.
But the professionals call them crises.
Okay.
So the sickle cell crisis can be triggered by anything such as dehydration. It can be triggered by
stress?
You took the words out of my mouth.
Sorry.
No. Actually, I was going to make that last because that has been my biggest trigger.
Yeah.
I literally just got over a severe crisis where I had to get exchange blood transfusion. And that is basically they sucked a lot of my blood out and put in somebody else's blood because my body wouldn't stop creating the sickled blood.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I really don't have the crises as frequently as other people, but I've had really extreme consequences from it. Both of my hips are fake.
No.
And I need to get my shoulders replaced also.
Because the joints have deteriorated so much from that.
Exactly. Because your body, her body, anybody's body, when you need new red blood cells, it takes it from the marrow in your bone. Not to mention when the blood's not flowing, now the bone is not getting oxygen and blood flow. So it's two different ways that is leading to deterioration. I think the triggers and catalysts of stress will always be there to the extent that you stress. is up to you.
Yeah, how am I managing that stress?
Exactly. And so with me this past 2 months, because I'm a strong believer in the power of the mind, mentally, I was on top of everything. But eventually, that energy of having to wrestle with them thoughts will manifest. And my body was like, hey, you know what?
You know what? Fuck you. Is what your body said.
Exactly.
Hey, knock. Hey, fuck you. We're going to take you down for a minute.
That part. It's just the body said, I need to reset. And if I put your ass in the hospital, you ain't got no choice but to reset.
Yeah, the body weirdly protects you sometimes, even when it feels like it's trying to kill you. How long will the crises or attacks last? Or when you were a kid, how long would they last?
When I was a child, they would last 2-3 days. And it would be nonstop pain because the blood's not flowing. So it's just nonstop pain. I can't move. I'm running a fever because technically I'm inflamed in my whole body because the blood's not flowing. So that leads to inflammation and it leads to a fever. And I would just cry. Imagine a child who is living with technically a stranger. As much as I love Big Mama, I got adopted by an older lady in our neighborhood that everyone revered and called Big Mama. So Big Mama adopted me and my brother. I was 10 years old. He was 13. And she already had 6 kids living with her. So it's 9 of us in an 800 square foot house.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so each got less than 100 square feet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there crying, wishing I had my mama, wishing I had a daddy, because I never knew my biological father. Never even seen a picture of him. Never met him. But my mother's husband, he did try. And when they divorced, that's when my mama really just spiraled out of control.
Well, and she was en route, which helped with the
Exactly. Unfortunately, she was already addicted.
Clarksville, Tennessee, we just built a house on the Cumberland River 2 years ago. So it runs through your backyard, the Cumberland?
It does.
Where is it in the state? Is it east of Nashville or west?
We're northwest, just barely northwest, though. It's more just straight north. We're 45 minutes if you drive the speed limit, but I've gotten from Nashville to Clarksville in 30 minutes.
Okay. So, and are you getting close to Kentucky at that point?
We're actually on the Tennessee-Kentucky state line.
Oh, no kidding.
Wow.
Yes.
Is Bowling Green on the other side, or that's...
Bowling Green's middle Kentucky, so it's more northeastern of Clarksville.
Got you.
Yeah. And I actually was already making memories in Bowling Green from being a young, promiscuous man, but I had to sit in their county jail for 4 years.
Oh, my God.
Wait, in Bowling Green?
Yes.
Oh, no kidding.
Because they have a contract with the marshals. And so when I was being held to go back and forth to federal court, I was in the county jail, Warren County Regional Jail in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
And I can't imagine there were any field trips to the Corvette Museum.
Yeah, I used to look out the window and just see the sign and just be yearning for a day to not only drive any car, it could be a Honda Civic, let alone a Corvette. Yeah.
So from 0 to 2, it's just you and your older brother Robert, right? He's 2 years older than you.
3 years, yes.
So at what, 2 or 3, y'all move in with Mickey.
Yeah.
And Mom starts dating him. You guys move from downtown Clarksville in some projects to kind of a nice area in the north side?
Yes.
So tell me about Mickey. What kind of dude was he?
Mickey was the sail on the boat amongst the storm, giving us still some stability and some direction. But unfortunately, because the captain of the boat likes to make sure all the sailors listen, he was controlling to an extent that as a child, I couldn't perceive it as that.
Yeah.
I just understood that everybody's complaining about mama. What is mama doing so wrong? But then I'm also seeing that when they're complaining about mama, Mickey wants to complain with his fist. So to this day, I consider Mickey my daddy, the only man that ever tried. So I love and revere him for giving effort.
Yeah.
I'm not his biological child. Yeah. He could have said, F me, even when they started dating, not to mention once they got divorced. Yeah. Because even though they got divorced and we moved and went through all the hardships we went through, people gossip. And once the gossip got around that it was being so hard on us, that I was going to school with holes in my shoes, that I was going to school with too little or too big clothes. Not only did my brother push his pride to the side and reach out to Mickey, Mickey had made it possible for them to communicate, and he came back around, and he was trying to help.
Yeah, he was a dude who worked at the post office, right? He never missed a day of work. His car broke. He walked 5 miles. So in some ways, yeah, he's like a rock. And then clearly he's in over his head with this relationship and everything else that's going on. And he doesn't act his best. And yeah, starts to get violent. Your mom was kind of a badass, right? In her day.
Yeah, she was blessed to have a father who got his hustle on. My granddaddy was about his business, and he got to the money. You know, my granddaddy had successful funeral home, but then he bought and acquired other funeral homes and then other small businesses, just trying to pursue all his entrepreneurial instincts. And so my grandfather made sure my mother was raised in a good environment, and at the same time, good environment, that line gets blurred due to the fact this is the 60s and the 70s, so black people are only allowed in certain areas.
Yeah.
And so he got money, but you want to interact with who you're allowed to interact with, which is other black people, so you're going to be in the hood. You're going to be around certain things. Yeah. And so by the time cocaine and crack came along, my mother's the pretty girl who all the hustlers are hollering at, everybody's flirting with, and she let fun become something that ruined her.
Yeah, but she was tough. She liked to fight. She was hell-bent on repeating to you guys, you shouldn't ever let anyone put their hands on you.
Yeah.
So after one of these beatings, and you're present for it, she grabs a butcher knife, and what happens?
Yeah, so I forgot to shout out my grandmother. I'm named after my maternal grandmother, Miss Christine Hooker. And Christine was known to gamble and carry a knife and a gun. And my mama learned from her. And my mama named me after my grandmother. She died on my mother's 21st birthday. She died from cancer on mama's birthday, January 27th, 1984. And so grandmama had always taught mama to protect yourself no matter what. If you can't whoop them with your hands, you grab a weapon. And that's something that mama embraced wholeheartedly. And so one morning, her and Mickey had been going back and forth, and she said, you know what, I ain't taking no more slaps or punches. I'm finna kill him. And she pulled me and Robert together. We crying, screaming. She's hugging us. And also telling us, shut up. And telling us, suck it up. And when you hear us get into it, when you hear the tussle, go call your granddaddy.
And tell him I killed Mickey.
Exactly.
Wow.
Verbatim.
Meaning,
oh my God.
This is what's coming, y'all.
I know. And are you guys like, no, don't.
And you're what,
do
5 and 8
that.
at this time? Or,
I'm about
10 and
6, 7.
Wow.
I'm about 7 because this is the last episode, so I'm 7.
Yeah.
I'm 7, and my brother's 10. And so imagine seeing your mother already whelped up, bruised up, a little bloody, and she's telling you, I'm finna murder somebody that you love. I love Mickey.
This is what's fucking sucks. Everything's so fucking confusing.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's
It's
complex.
like, wait, no, Mickey's a good dude, but how's he also hitting my mom? Like trying to make peace with this.
Exactly. Preach. Imagine a child trying to sort these thoughts out. And then this is happening in real time, so you don't have the space to be patient, to organize the thoughts.
Yeah.
You got to react.
Yeah.
And in that moment of reacting, when we seen her storm out, and then we also heard the scream afterwards, we knew she carried out her promise. But by the time I hit the corner, I see blood dripping down Mickey, but I also see him stomping the hell out of her. I see a grown man's foot coming up and down. And my brother Robert, being the braver one, the older one, he took off running towards the fight. I took off running out the door.
At 10. This little boy at 10 had to jump. He did what? Yeah, mine was like watching, completely paralyzed with fear, thinking, oh, wow, she's going to die. You know, that's a real specific moment. And Dad's already gone, so where are we going? You know, where are we going when the dust settles from this? And just the deep fucking emasculation of wanting to protect my mom and not having the courage or size or strength has set me on a fucking trajectory for the rest of I'm still dealing with that moment.
Them inner child wounds. And I'm glad that you're conscious of them to heal from them. But I wasn't for a long time. And so, like you said, that feeling helpless, that feeling emasculated, but then also knowing that I am a man and knowing I do have the nuts to stand up. Yeah. It led me to taking what Master P was rapping about as not only a real fact of life, but it was also entertainment, to me embodying it and naming myself soldier and literally being on the front lines every time.
And is the C, you were Soldier C. Soldier
Yeah.
C, was that for Chris?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
And Soldier for the people at home is spelled Soulj.
A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Soldier.
It's like Soldier Boy. And yeah.
But I was
Sorry,
before
I guess
him.
everyone
I'm
knows.
older than him, and I was naming myself that before him.
You started it. You started.
When he came out, I used to get in the club and nod my head, but I used to be like, I hate the fact he's famous and I'm not. But
Yeah.
I was a young man. I ain't know no better. But yeah, when I got older, I realized that I am is the most powerful thought that you can have. I am thought. Because then whatever you follow that I am with, you are literally manifesting it because you will embrace that mentality. And your mentality equals your reality. So me saying I'm a soldier, I am literally putting myself in harm's way because I'm saying I'm willing to ride.
Yeah.
Whatever the situation is,
Yeah.
let's go. But I realized also I was spelling it a certain way because I was putting my soul and my whole heart and my whole being into anything I was choosing.
Uh-huh.
So I had to finally realize, okay.
There's the added shame of when you're that fucking family on the street.
That embarrassment, that shame.
Yes. The spectacle. Like when you know you're the fucking spectacle on the street.
Exactly.
You're trying to like make friends and get girls and like you're the fucking house on the block.
It's funny you said that, exactly how you said it, because making friends in an environment where you're the butt of the joke most of the time is a hell of a complex situation. Like, now that I'm older and I have tried to heal from a lot of things, when I talk with my fiance, she's like, you got bullied. And, in my mind, I didn't look at it like that. And then some of them same...
Because that's weak to get bullied.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
in my mind, those same guys are now my brothers too, But when you going around with holes in your shoes and you musky and you stinky, kids don't know no better. They're just like, oh, you stink. Ha, ha, ha. I'll look at your shoes.
Yeah. Your mom's a crackhead. That's a funny joke.
That was
for
the
kids.
biggest joke. That led to my first fight in school. I'll never forget his name. I'm not going to say his name, but he was a heavyset white guy, and he literally happened to just see my mom one day, and he wouldn't let it go. And we sitting in lunch, and he and another guy cracking jokes, and he said, your mom's a big fat bitch. And bop, I hit him so hard, and blood just started oozing down his nose.
Yeah.
But that was a guy I didn't have to see every day. The guys in my neighborhood, I got to see every day.
Yeah.
And they also are the same guys that I kind of look up to, I kind of love, but I also know they're supplying my mama with drugs.
Yeah. God, it's so complicated.
So that transition from I don't know, it's not clearly detailed in the book, but clearly mom partied here and there. But there becomes this period where your mom misses the project. She misses downtown, right? You guys are in a nice kind of area, but she misses it. So you guys always hang out at your uncle's baby mama's house. Yeah. Ree?
Yep. Yeah.
It's a good time there, right? You go downtown, there's kids everywhere, there's family members, the ladies are playing cards, and you start noticing like mom's not playing cards with everyone. She's out. And do you remember at that age, I know it's hard to remember, but were you theorizing like what was going on, or are you just not overthinking it?
Yes, I actually asked my cousin Kudus, who's Ree's son, and he was 8 years older than me. I'm 6, 7, 8, so he's 14, 15, 16, and my brother's 3 years older than me, so my brother's 9, 10, 11, and we're on the bed listening to music, playing a video game, and I said, what's that shit? That phrase right there is what I always heard the adults mention when they was negatively talking about my mother.
She was chasing that shit.
She's chasing that shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's that shit?
Yeah.
Because I'm wondering, one, where she's at.
Yeah.
She's not in there. Like you said, everybody's in there playing cards, listening to music, and she's gone. And every time they would always say, she gone chasing that shit. That girl gonna let that shit ruin her. That girl got that shit on her mind so bad, she ain't even here for these kids. And so I didn't theorize. I asked a question. I didn't realize it at the time, but I was inquisitive, and I didn't know how to embrace that. I just knew people always tell me, shut the hell up. You asking too many questions.
Yeah.
Be quiet. This and that.
Drugs is a big concept, too, when you're young.
That's why now that I'm free, and not only free, but have some good things going for me. I never hold anything against anyone, but I haven't forgotten anything about anyone. And so a lot of adults and a lot of people want to come back around as if, I'm your uncle or I'm your cousin or, you wasn't when I was living with no electricity, no running water.
Yeah.
You wasn't when I was incarcerated with 2 life sentences. Yeah. So, I'm not mad at you.
But it's a convenient time for you to be all, but now it's easy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So did he tell you? He said it's drugs?
No.
Okay.
They told me quit cussing.
Oh, okay. They want to be quiet. Okay.
Yeah, my cousin was like, boy, watch your mouth. And my brother punched me. That was his way of trying to get me in order. He would punch me in my arm. Quit hitting me. That's the first thing that will come out of my mouth, But I'm still wondering, what is that shit?
Yeah.
Nobody told me what that shit is.
Yeah.
You're constantly in these situations where people are talking terribly about your mother. And even if you know it all about your mother, it hurts so bad. Your grandpa would talk really shitty about your mom.
Yeah.
His daughter.
Yeah. As much as I revered my grandfather for his entrepreneurial skills and for his material things, him as a person, I was too young to really get a chance to know. I knew him well enough where I was sad when he passed. I knew him well enough where this is granddaddy, and I feel a sense of excitement when he comes around.
And pride, he's your grandpa. He's a big dog. He's the king of fucking Clarkston.
Yeah.
Right?
But I never knew him enough to make a conscious decision where you're like, I'm not finna be around my grandfather no more.
Yeah.
The person I did do that with that was candid in a way that I hated was Big Mama. Big Mama... One day, after I'm having one of my sickle cell crises, the kids that we live with, that I perceive as cousins now, but back then they just people we live with, they're picking on me. They're talking and laughing about, oh, Robert, help me. Mama, I want my mama. And
kids are
They're so cruel. It's like, it's
kids
so...
can be cruel, And they're making fun of me for calling for my mama. And I'm like, you couldn't deal with that pain. If you had to go through a sickle cell attack, you couldn't deal with the pain. And in their mind, they like, I'm not even talking about the pain. I'm talking about you calling for Penny. Penny's not here. You know she's not here. But I'm a child, and this is my source of empowerment, my source of protection for so many years, and now that's gone. Now that's stripped away from me. No matter how many years I watched her decline, I just know now that I'm in this moment of pain, I need someone.
Yeah.
And for years, that had been that person. And when the kids are making fun of me, I go to fight one of them. I go to stand up. I'm finna run over there. And Big Mama must have been close listening. She hit the corner. She grabbed me, and... They right. I don't know what the fuck you calling for your mama for. If she wanted you, you would be with her. She don't want you.
God.
And I got to crying. I got so mad I wanted to fight Big Mama so bad.
Yeah, it's so hurtful.
And I hated Big Mama for so many years.
And she thinks she's helping you move past it.
And accept reality. In her mind, it's like, this is the reality. If your mama wanted you, you wouldn't be with me.
Yeah, that's not a reality we ever need to...
It's also not reality.
No.
It's so much more nuanced than
Thank you. You're right.
Like,
You're
it's
right.
not like, oh, she doesn't want you, so that's why she's an addict. Like,
Yeah, she got
there's so much to it.
Yeah.
Major terminal disease.
Yes, exactly.
That she's going to choose over herself. So, yeah.
Thank you.
She's going to choose it over everything.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, you said it best.
Yeah, as an addict, like, I know people are like, they're confused by people not showing up for their family. Like, wow, you choose your addiction over your family. It's like, well, yeah, I choose it over myself.
Exactly.
I'm killing myself. I already declared I'm going to destroy this thing. So
Exactly.
you're shocked that I also... Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, that's where we're at.
If I'm imploding, you can only imagine if you're around me, you're gonna get this this
shrapnel.
blast. You're gonna be a part of this. You know,
Yeah.
so yeah. But Big Mama was my anchor, my rock, my foundation. She was my heart.
What were the events that led to you living there?
Mama and Mickey, she stabs Mickey. Mickey beats her up. I go call the police. By the time the police come, they arrest her.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what? I'm panicking. I'm like, I called y'all. He's beating her up. They like, she used a weapon. She's going to jail.
You're not allowed to do
so, you know, she go to jail. We go with my granddaddy for a few days. You know, they eventually make her bond. And my granddaddy had gifted my mother a house. This house happened to be in the middle of the hood, though, smack dead in the middle of it. And we get to live in there, and that's when Mama really just spiraled out of control. And she quit paying the bills, the lights and water get cut off. And she had another boyfriend that lived in an even smaller house that beat her ass even worse than Mickey.
This is Roger?
Yes.
And Roger was fucking enormous, right? He's like
Exactly.
280, 5'10". He looks like a linebacker. He works for the city.
You took the words right out of my mouth. He's literally the spitting image of Emmitt Smith in the face and about the size of Brian Urlacher back in the day.
Just a monster. But he's partying, but he's still going to work. I mean, he's got a constitution, though, Roger.
Roger was a functioning addict to the point where he ain't going to miss work.
Right.
But after work, he's going
to
get drunk. He's going to get high. He drunk to the point he's falling around.
Yeah.
But somehow he's going to get up and clock in when it's time to go to work. And so, that relationship was very abusive and same
She
thing.
stabbed him, too.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Got her... Narrowly avoided getting arrested that time, right?
Yeah. But they still issued the warrant. After me and Robert cried and screamed enough, the empathy kicked in and they was like, go handle them. You got to do something with these kids. But just know that you do have a warrant for your arrest.
Turn yourself in tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Which she did not do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we moved back to her house with no lights and no water.
For 2 years, you guys live in that house?
Yes.
With no lights and no water.
Yeah.
Just you two?
No, my mother was there, but
okay.
she wasn't there.
Right,
She was there physically when she needed to be, and she wasn't there none mentally.
No water for 2 years?
Yes, can you imagine if you wake up in the middle of the night, not only is there no lights, but I got smart enough, I started carrying a lighter in my pocket. So I can strike my lighter to get to the bathroom, but I got to preemptively cover my nose because when I lift the lid of this toilet, it's 3 people's feces from 3 different days of using the toilet.
And dudes are in and out of that place probably partying with mom or no?
I know this is not the best nomenclature, and I don't use this phrase now, but we call them smokers. Mm-hmm. So, yes, people that got high, like my mom, they would come and get high with her.
Take a shit in your toilet with no water. Not care.
So, the house was very derelict and very wretched, and Big Mama, the older lady in our neighborhood that everybody already loved and knew, she came one day and she was like, y'all gonna go with me? Yeah. And Mama was like, yeah. And I'm like, for how long? And Big Mama was like, for how long you need to? And I'm like, nah, for how long? I don't want to be away from my mama. As much as I'm mad at Mama, as much as I hate what she's choosing, this is still Mama.
Yeah.
You have a primal connection to your mother because whether you're aware of it or not, you're literally the division of her cells.
You're of her, yes.
Yeah. And you just love Robert, and he's such a fucking sweet brother, and he's got way too much on his shoulders. And again, reading his story made me so sympathetic to my older brother, too. It's like they're doing everything you're doing, and then also they have on their shoulders that they're the father.
Exactly.
Right? They got to be your father, too.
Man.
I'm writing a memoir myself, and I text my brother after having to write some passage about him, and I just wrote him, and I said, dude, you did such a good job. Thank you.
I salute you.
And then he called me crying, and I was like, oh, shit. You've been waiting to hear that for a while.
Yeah, but it's good that you got to the point where you did it.
Yeah.
Because some people get to that point and skip it.
Yeah.
And don't realize to embrace the moment.
Well, I'm locked into my own experience, but it's like forcing to, you just did it, right? It's like forcing to tell other people's story, and your story forces empathy onto you, forces perspective. Like when you really got to sit there and think like, oh, fuck, what was Robert thinking about in this situation?
Man.
All those things, plus he got to protect you.
Man.
He's watching mom get beat to death, and she just stabbed somebody. Mm-hmm. And you're in the mix, and he's responsible for you.
And he got to think about, man, Chris needs something to eat tonight.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I'm hungry.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And you ain't think about anybody else's hunger but Chris's.
Exactly. Exactly.
'cause you're the baby.
And so, like, I actually, because I'm here to be vulnerable, I'm here to be candid, but my mother's brother, with me being free now and me living a certain way now, he wanted to come back into my life, and that's cool. I don't have nothing against you. But within it, he wanted to try to dictate a celebration that me and my fiance just had and invite people that we weren't inviting. And he's like, we're their family. I'm like, no, they're not family. We might share some DNA somewhere, but family is a verb. They've never treated me like family. I could care less about that DNA.
Weirdly, Mickey was more of a family.
Thank you. Mickey, and we shared no DNA.
Yeah.
And Mickey was definitely more family. And I brought that up because I had to kind of check my uncle, and as I'm checking him, in the midst of it, he happened to say something negative about Robert. And I'm like, hey, hold on. You never can understand what that man went through because, one, you had a mama and a daddy.
That had money.
Exactly. This man didn't have a mama nor a daddy, and on top of that, had to look out for me. Then turn around and make it a child himself when he was 16. So that's a lot for a young man.
My God.
Not to mention, then he jumped in the streets, and that come with his own set of circumstances.
I just want to mention quickly, you are a great student, though, throughout all this.
Thank you. I appreciate
right?
you.
Yeah, you're getting A's. You're like the only kid in your group that can be reporting that you're getting A's. And people are like, what the hell is he getting A's?
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
As parents, our mental to-do list in August is already doing that thing where we're trying to enjoy summer, but the first day of school is just pinging in the background. Because we know it's coming, the forms, the supply lists, pickup and drop-off times, and the last thing parents want in the whole spiral is, oh, we need to print this by tomorrow and we're out of ink again. That's the idea behind the HP Smart Tank printer from HP, America's most trusted printer brand. Instead of those little cartridges that know how to run out at the exact wrong moment, the HP Smart Tank uses refillable ink tanks, and it comes with up to 3 years of ink included. 3 years! That's 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade without the tiny cartridge drama. Because let's be honest, middle school does not need our help adding more drama. I love this printer. We have it.
It's great.
And I look at that tank and I go, oh, we're so safe.
It's like magic.
Let it rip. Sometimes I panic about printing a whole script. Not now.
Oh, nice.
Total freedom. HP can't fix middle school, but the HP Smart Tank, can fix the ink problem. Search HP Smart Tank. We are supported by Allstate. Checking Allstate first could save you hundreds on car insurance. Not checking your gas gauge before hitting the road? You genuinely thought you could make it? You were wrong. That's a very long stretch of highway where you learned exactly how far fumes can take you. And it's not far enough. Yeah. Checking first is an excellent plan. So check Allstate first for an auto quote. It could save you hundreds. And for fast, reliable help when you need it, add an Allstate roadside plan today. You're in good hands with Allstate. Potential savings vary. Insurance and roadside assistance plans are subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Insurance provided by Allstate North American Insurance Company, Northbrook, Illinois. Roadside assistance plans provided by Allstate Motor Club, Incorporated, an Allstate affiliate. When does Robert start getting sucked into street life, and then when do you start? What's that trajectory?
The murder of my cousin Cootis. When Cootis got murdered, I was 10, and Robert was 13, and that's when I consciously knew, okay, he smokes weed. Because he didn't want to go to the funeral with us. He wanted to ride with the older guy, the other guys, because, you know, they was going to smoke weed, listen to music, and when he got to the funeral, I noticed, I'm like, he high. I know what weed is by this time, and I'm dabbling too, but I'm a child. I don't got access. He's 13, and he actually has access.
He's starting to probably use it to regulate.
Yeah, exactly.
In
self-medicate.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But he also had an interest. Back then, you know, we didn't have... The weed of today is not the weed of yesterday. And so back then, if you got some dro, as we called it, when you didn't have no seeds and it was actually truly grew with the hydroponic system, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I said that because most of the time, guys was going to have weed with seeds. My brother would take the seeds and actually grow some weed. Oh, wow. And a lot of people did that, but I could see he truly had an interest in it. Mm-hmm. But he's not around anyone that can tell him, hey, you can be a botanist.
Right.
No one is telling him.
He never met anyone that is...
Exactly.
In biology or anything.
Exactly. There's nobody to guide and direct him
mentor.
Except to, hey, you want some money?
Yeah.
You need some money? This is how you can get some money.
Exactly.
And that is slowly but for sure I started to notice he was selling drugs because he popped up with a new CD player. Oh. And I'm green. I'm a child. I'm like, how you get this? And he like, such and such gave it to me. And I'm like, gave it to you? Yeah. He like, yeah. I'm not knowing, though. He traded it for some drugs.
Yeah.
He gave me that. I gave him some weed.
Crack.
Okay. Yeah.
But, you know, so Robert jumped in the streets when he was about 13, when I was 11. Okay. First time I sold some drugs. And it was just some weed. But that weed slowly but for surely became consistent. And by the time it got consistent, you know, I'm seeing Robert and everybody else in my neighborhood go from being kids with, you know, not as bad attire as I have, but to a little decent attire, to not only a little decent attire, now they got cars, and not only do they got cars, now they got necklaces and gold teeth.
Yeah.
And Jordans.
Exactly.
But can
And
you
I'm
imagine,
yeah.
like, you having control for the first time in your life? Like, how
Autonomy,
intoxicating.
yeah.
We
That
all
sense of
would do.
autonomy,
That's the
yes.
thing that's, like, it's so frustrating when people are judgmental. It's just like, no one wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, anyone that wants to survive.
Yeah.
Anyone who has a
And have
survival
any
instinct.
opportunity
yes.
and have any,
It'll happen even when you're not realizing you're choosing it. It's like being a castaway stuck at sea. You know you can't drink seawater. You know the salt is in here,
Exactly.
but you're dying of thirst.
Yeah.
And the same way with a child, a teenager, you know you shouldn't sell drugs. You know eventually you might get arrested. Then you're seeing people get arrested. You're like, all right, the odds of me getting arrested is pretty high, but you're dying of thirst.
No
And like you
choice.
said, you want to survive. And so eventually
Yeah.
you're going to drink this seawater. And then you might do all right the first day, then the second day, and then eventually you're in the back of a police car.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is, I think from the outside, people would think, oh, you declare I'm going to be a drug dealer. That's such a huge decision. But that's not what happens. Little tiny things happen. And then the frequency of the little tiny things happen that all feel like one-offs. And at some point, you have to look around, evaluate, and go like, oh, I'm a drug dealer. But, right? Or am I wrong?
No, you're right.
It just, you kind of, like, little things happen, and all of a sudden you recognize, oh, I do this kind of a lot, and I yes, I am this. It's
Exactly.
like your self-protection prevents you from acknowledging what's happening in some weird way.
Yeah, like your body's composed of a bunch of cells, and then those cells are composed of subatomic particles, but they all come together to make organs. Then the organs come together to make a body. Them different decisions, one by one, make you into, and like I said earlier, the most powerful thought you can have is I am. So those little decisions end up adding up to saying, oh, I am a street dude. I am a dope boy. I am a gangster.
Yes.
Yeah.
And eventually you get to that point of you walking down the street, you got some drugs in your pocket, and you're super nervous every time you see some headlights. It's like, it's the police, the police, the police. And then it's to the point where the police pull up and talk to you, and you got a fully loaded 45 on your hip and an ounce in your back pocket, and you like, what's up, man?
Shooting the
What's up?
shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because they know you, you know them, and you're just like, all right, you ain't got no probable cause right now. Either you finna be an asshole and do something that you know is illegal, but you probably can still justify later on, or you gonna just act like it's a normal day. I'm in my hood, you doing your job, and it becomes that cat and mouse of like, okay, we coexist in this
Yeah.
weird dynamic.
Yeah.
And so,
What age does Robert start getting into trouble? When does he get arrested for the first time?
the first time Robert gets arrested is he's probably 14, 15. I'm going to say 14. And it's a couple of young guys standing on the block, and this particular police wanted to jump out. And instead of them playing it cool to see how he react, because, you know, every action has a reaction, they just straight run. So when they run, he catches Robert, and he dumps him on his face and some rocks. And Robert came home. His whole face was scratched up. And Robert didn't even have no real drugs. He had some fake drugs. And so they just called Big Mama at the station. She went down to the station. They let him go. That was his first arrest, but his first true charge of being actually charged. He's 19. I'm 16. And by this time, as you said, them small decisions have led up to I'm a full-fledged drug dealer. This is what I'm doing day in, day out. And this is what he's doing day in and day out. But we're making it easier for the police because we're doing it out of a house that we also live in,
Not ideal.
party in,
Yeah.
and everything else.
One-stop shop.
Exactly.
Talk about shitting where you eat.
Thank you. That part. Exactly. It's a frat house with ounces of crack going in and out daily.
Yeah.
So, you know, they kick in the door, and all the drugs in there are mine. Me being a juvenile, Robert being the adult, he claimed everything is his. Kept me out of trouble. But that decision and choice to try to keep his little brother out of trouble was also one of the inflection points in his life that led to some of the most stressful moments of his
He
life.
already had the baby, or he's about to have a baby?
Yes, my niece at this time is 2 years old, finna be 3.
Okay.
And so, yes, by this time, she's walking, laughing, and saying daddy, and, you know, it was torture for him. He didn't make it to prison, but he spent his last 18 months of his life in the county jail. Yeah.
And then he died by suicide.
Yes,
Where at?
unfortunately. In the house that my grandfather gifted my mother. You know, that house was a gift and a curse.
Vine Street.
We all, yes, 1206 Vine Street, a.k.a. the Boulevard.
AKA, yeah, the Boulevard.
The Boulevard is a name that I don't think anybody that was in Clarksville in the early 2000s will forget.
Yeah.
Because, you know, between my mother's drug usage, other people's drug usage, then me and my brother's drug selling, and then the other guys in my neighborhood drug selling, like the house became a staple of our neighborhood. You know, everybody knew about it. Everybody would do something at it in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And my brother laid on the couch and with my gun that I literally just had took off my hip that I usually would never put down, not even if I'm going to the restroom or to the shower. I happened to take it off my hip because I had just got arrested the week before. And I'm like, where I'm going, I don't need it. And I don't want to take any more risks and chances. And he took his life with it. Yeah. January 1st, 2007.
So horrible.
That's fucking brutal.
It is.
Yeah.
It was so traumatic and so hard. Like it's a memory that is intoxicating. Like it's almost like I take a hallucinogen just remembering those next 72 hours. Because between me already smoking a shitload of weed daily and then his death and then mixing the Remy Martin, it was so convoluted to the point where I don't even really remember sleeping. And when I do remember sleeping, I remember waking up thinking, this got to be the dream.
Yeah.
The dream and the sleep I'm praying and hoping was real and not what I'm waking up to. But eventually I had to push off the intoxication. I had to push off the pain, and I had to organize a funeral.
How'd you know not to try crack?
Watching Penny.
I mean, that seems odd,
Yeah.
but you know, a lot of people watch and they still follow.
Yeah. And unfortunately, my brother was one. You know, my brother was one. He literally admitted, you know, I wanted to know why mama put this before everything.
Wow.
Like, I literally was curious. He was like, you know, I had been curious and knew I shouldn't do it. But then one day I couldn't get no good weed. Because by this time, we getting money. So by this time, like I said, right now, if somebody buys some weed, it's not a bad weed. Technically, all weed is good nowadays because of the way it is.
Right.
But back then, it was a good and a bad. And he was like,
Yeah.
I couldn't find no good weed. And I had always wondered what it was like. And I had some crumbs, and I just put the crumbs in the joint with the weed and tried it. And for me, I never wanted to experiment because the stigma. I will admit and look in the mirror and take that I was very judgmental, you know. But now I realize all people are sinners, and we sin in a way that we're comfortable with, and then some people choose to judge those that sin in a way that they're uncomfortable with.
Yeah, but not to let you off the hook entirely, we got to add, when you have nothing to acquire status and you're low rung on everything, some moral superiority can keep you afloat.
You're right.
It's like you're searching for anything that confirms that I'm not the same piece of shit as I think everyone else. You know, like, you just kind of got to, for survival, think there's something special about yourself, and that kind of can lead to moral superiority. I mean, I don't know.
You're also smart. Maybe there is something that just like that straight A brain was just like, I'm not doing that. That's where I draw the line there or something.
Well, thank y'all. And I definitely know war gives tools that peace could never give, and peace gives a perspective that war could never give, you know. So you being caught up in that dynamic day in and day out for most of my childhood definitely had me believing, okay, all right, like he said, I am not going to be a thief, but I'm going to be the biggest dope boy I can be.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be a mass murderer, but nobody's going to fuck with me. And if they do, they're going to have to face the consequence. And so you do create this moral code that no matter how flawed it is your compass.
We can tell ourselves a lot of shit.
Yeah.
When did that news reach Mom, and what was the reaction?
My mama was locked up. She was in the county jail. She had been there for the past 5-6 months because she had a year sentence. And usually when you don't go to the actual prison, when you just have small sentences like that, they'll give you 2-for-1s, which is basically for every day you do, we'll count it as 2 days, as long as you keep a job in the jail. So she was incarcerated, and she had been in the county jail for about 5, maybe 6 months. And Big Mama took it upon herself to do whatever the process was. She reached out to somebody downtown that could get in touch with the judge. And the judge eventually signed off and gave her time served to release her, to make sure she could come to Robert's funeral.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I never forget it. I was in Big Mama's front room, and I hear somebody coming down the street with all this crying and screaming and just making a scene. Like, unfortunately, you can probably walk down Hollywood Boulevard and see somebody doing it, or Sunset Boulevard. And so I hear somebody coming down the street being hysterical, and I look out the door, and it's my mama. And so, she comes and, she had to be in a cell and get the news that, hey, not only is your son dead, but it's the reason why we're even releasing you. You really got a few more weeks.
Yeah. You get arrested twice. What, 16 first?
I got arrested when I was 17.
17?
And that sent me to the juvenile detention facility.
For how long?
A month and a half.
Okay. How was that experience? Not as bad as you thought it was going to be, or worse, or what you thought?
A prophecy coming true.
Okay.
Kudus actually told me one time that if I keep acting and thinking how I was thinking and acting, that I would be going to juvenile detention.
It was when you were declaring yourself Soldier C to them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're like, knock that shit off.
I had seen Kudus cry after he was arrested for an attempted murder charge. That ultimately he was released because the charges were dropped because he didn't do it. But at that time, I'm just a young child in a courtroom with my mama and my auntie, and I see the person that I think is the pinnacle of being cool, the pinnacle of being a man.
You had all the girls.
Exactly. And now I see tears coming down your face, and I've been indoctrinated that men don't cry, gangsters don't cry, soldiers don't cry.
You've been teased a ton yourself.
Exactly, for crying. And now I see you crying, and so Kudus warned me that if I keep thinking the way I'm thinking and acting the way I'm acting, I'm going to get locked up. And so that first arrest, sitting in the back of that bus, and they take us to a whole nother town. That's about an hour and a half away from Clarksville to this juvenile facility. And so it's a long drive for somebody that just got arrested. You're like, God damn, I just got caught. Not only did I get caught, what is going to happen next?
Really quick, did you have moments of dramatic shifts between feeling like a fully fledged adult and then all of a sudden going, oh my God, I'm a fucking kid, like feeling like a kid? I would imagine like slinging dope, getting paid, you're feeling like a man going shopping. That bus ride, you're like, oh.
It wasn't the bus ride, it was the ankle monitor. When they finally let me go a month and a half later, they wouldn't let me go unless I had somebody to live with. Another moment where Mickey comes in the picture and allows me to live with him. And living with Mickey was being a child again. And I couldn't be a child, especially not to a man that I feel like you ain't nothing anyway. You are something, and I appreciate your attempts because I haven't forgot the past attempts, and I'm appreciating this attempt. But I'm a man now, and he ain't trying to hear that, and the court ain't trying to hear that.
Yeah, you're so fucked up at this point, dude. I mean, you're just so fucked up. You're trying to make sense of everything. You're trying to be a man. You're trying to... You're disappointed in him and you love him and you feel heartbroken that he didn't turn out to be who you wanted him to be, but now he's here, and so you're both appreciative and judgmental. I mean, it's just, it's a mess. Fast forward to 2010, you're 22, there's a sting operation, and they arrest 30 people.
36 to be exact, and 3 the charges got dropped because of the cooperation, and then the other 3 was charged, but they agreed to cooperate too, and they just got less charges than everybody. But yes, a lot of us.
Oh, wow.
You get arrested. And then you have 4 years before your trial starts. Insane.
I know.
Also, what did you have on you? Like, what did you have on you?
I had no drugs on me.
You had
But
no drugs.
No, I had a gun. I had a loaded 9mm Ruger, and I had $11,000 within my reach.
Okay.
So technically, I came with the money. There's no, I've been convicted. The past is the past. So I brought the money, and the guy I was getting my drugs from, he had the drugs. Let me tell the story quickly.
Yeah.
He's the target. So they have been tapping his phones. They have been wanting him for years. They've been knowing who he was. He actually had beat a federal case roughly a decade before. And this particular night, case is over with. They like, we got enough evidence. We finna arrest his ass. But the phones are tapped, and I call. And they like, we don't know who this is. And it sounds like they're finna do a drug deal. Let's let them meet. We think they're finna do a drug deal. They let us meet, and we're at a store, a convenience store, a gas station, and they jump out. When they jump out, I have the money, but I throw it under the car, and I have my gun inside my car, and inside his car, he has roughly 15 ounces.
Okay.
And so, yes, they charged me with attempted possession, charged me with the conspiracy, and then charged me with drugs on a school zone because it was a little alternative school that's not even a real school, and it wasn't even in operation anymore. It still had its charter, and the charter was for that address. Like when we really got into trial and really dug through the weeds, I got 4 charges altogether: felon with a firearm, the conspiracy, attempted possession of the drugs, and the drugs in the school zone.
The 4-year stint before your trial, when do you discover the library at the county jail?
So from the moment the handcuffs got put on me, I knew that I was through. I knew that I wanted change because it had been too much pain. I'm like, this has to stop. Like, my life has been fucked up. And I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what God got in store for me. Like, by this time, I am in an existential crisis. I'm like, this is crazy. There's no way in the world my life has been this messed up. I've had to live with no electricity, no running water, no parents. My cousin got murdered, and I pull up to the crime scene. Well, I didn't pull up because I wasn't driving. I'm a child. But and then my brother died by suicide. I have to find him. I have to navigate not stepping in his brains, but also getting help. I am now getting arrested by the FBI and the DEA. I'm seeing these jackets that usually you only see on movies.
Exactly.
So I'm
You're like, what happened?
Exactly. I'm like, this is unreal. Like, this can't be true. Like, how can one person's life be this crazy?
Yeah, and I guess probably from the outside, a lot of people might say, their knee-jerk reaction might be like, well, of course, what did you think? It's kind of shocking how much you can ignore stuff until the rent's due. Like, when that happens, you can both be going like, well, yeah, this makes sense. But also like, oh, wow, we're here.
Exactly.
Think about the amount of things you just said that weren't choices at all. Like the parents you're born into, the house you're born into, the not having electricity. Like these aren't decisions. You're a kid. You're just like being drug along.
Surviving.
It's so it's just so unfair.
And then once the cuffs got put on me, I'm like, okay, let me figure something out. And so I reverse engineered, and I started with my mother's choices. Then I went to my choices. Then I went to America's decisions, which led me to having certain thoughts, but I'm still not getting the answers. But I got the questions. I got all the questions.
Really quick, was the question like, how did this happen? Is this happening to everybody? If it's not happening to everybody, why is it happening to me? What system is in place that allowed this to happen to me and not everyone else?
That's a great way to paraphrase it. But I will admit, like any other human being, I'm being so subjective. I'm like, nobody else's life is this hard, not in America. I'm knowing people go through other things in every part of the world, America, every other country. So, but at that time, I'm being so subjective. I'm like, ain't no way my life is this hard. What is going on?
Something stinks.
Exactly.
I need an explanation for this.
Thank you. Yeah. So, yes, I had all these questions. And walking into that county jail library, I'm going in there because we have to. They're searching us. Like, even though we're incarcerated, even though we're locked up, you still are subjected to certain treatment that people wouldn't expect. They expect it because they hear stories and like, okay, this is inhumane, this is mistreatment, blah, blah, blah. But they wouldn't expect it like, really? Like, what do y'all think they got? Like, unless you bring it, how does it enter the facility?
Exactly.
That is the ultimate reality. But I see on the board a Bible verse that has always resonated with me. And I happened to look up after reading the Bible verse, which was, faith the size of a mustard seed can move a mountain into the sea. And you know, it's different variations of the Bible, so it might be a little bit different. But I'm thinking of that as I walk past it. It's on the chalkboard. So I'm thinking about, okay, church must have just been in there because this same room, this same library is what it technically is also serving as church, mosque, temple. Everything that is allowed in the jail is serving for that. So I'm like, okay, the last pastor wrote this. I sit down, and out of nowhere, the same way that stack of books that you have right there is color-coded, all red, I happen to notice something red, and I'm like, what is that? And it was a set of encyclopedias, and it embarked me on a trajectory that saved me.
Yeah.
Wow.
We've heard from numerous people that their first love was the encyclopedia. Like, it's funny what a gateway that thing is.
It's true. I mean, it holds all the answers, as you said.
Well, do you think it just, like, if we could get metaphorical about it, is it that you had such a myopic view of the world and life? You were in such a specific thing. And to find out, was it the vastness of the world and everything in it? Like, what do you suppose was the romantic aspect to the encyclopedia that had you hooked?
I got two quotes to answer that. One is by Carl Sagan. He said, books are like seeds, able to lay dormant, but able to flower in the most unpromising soil. So them books had just been sitting there collecting dust. And I was that unpromising soil that now was finna water and nurture and cultivate something from those seeds. And then another quote is by me. I said, memory gives humans the ability to store information and build upon that information. Imagination gives people the ability to envision what to do with that information and change and build. The former can keep you trapped with painful memories. The latter can keep you trapped fearing future possibilities. Them encyclopedias contain so much information, so much about the world that I wanted to know, was curious to know, and hadn't been exposed to.
Yeah.
So yes, you're right. It was because so much was contained in that. And then they had 4 sets. I only noticed the red ones initially because red is what it serves as. It's a stimulant. It catches your attention. And since we're in LA, I gotta give the name drop. You know, the late great Nipsey Hussle was a Crip through and through, was unapologetic about it, but he made sure red was on his logo because he understood the power of the color.
Yeah.
So the red encyclopedias caught my attention, but they had a set that was black and a set that was green. So say, for instance, I'm curious about zoning and housing. I'm going to look up in the red encyclopedias, the black encyclopedias, and the green encyclopedias, housing policies in LA. Or whatever I might be interested in, and compare and contrast the 3 different encyclopedias.
Oh, because they were different brands?
Exactly. So, yeah, I definitely was yearning to be a part of a different group. And like right now, I am the iconoclast. I am the abnormal, the one that is just...
The anomaly.
The exception.
Exactly. I am, because I clearly, I'm not white. Clearly, I didn't come from the suburbs. Clearly, I don't fit what I match in some ways. Like most people, when they see me, I break all the stereotypes. When you think of street guy from the ghetto, a drug dealer, a gangster, gangbanger, any of the certain images pop in your head.
Yeah, every movie we've seen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't fit that. You know, I fit the suburban guy that has been around white people all his life, that has money.
That's assimilated
Exactly.
into white culture. Yeah.
Exactly. You know, some people will say, Oh, he talk white. No, everybody talks white because our language comes from England. We speak
Yeah.
English.
Yeah.
So, unless you're speaking a different language that I don't realize, but that is the fallacies and the misconceptions that come with not fitting a certain paradigm, not fitting a certain model.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
Needless to say, you take a real fucking journey for those 4 years of education. And then there's this crazy life-defining moment you have, which is it's 4 years later, you're going to get sentenced. You walk into that courtroom knowing what you're up against, which is they have now added, in that 4 years, they've decided to kind of upgrade to a 3 strikes, which for people who don't know about mandatory sentencing, federal 3 strike law, if you've got 2 violent felonies or 2 pre-existing drugs felonies, third one, life, period. Federal's no parole.
Yeah.
Life means life or life means 20 years?
No, life means stay in this little cell until you die. Until we pronounce you deceased, you will not leave the custody of the BOP.
Okay, so without question, that's what you're about to hear on that day.
Yeah.
And you have been advised not to speak by several people.
Yeah.
But then the judge asks you if you'd like to say anything. What is that speech?
That speech is, can you imagine a child that has been dumped into a swamp and he's been told to get out of this swamp? And then by the time he makes it to civilization and walks into a restaurant, he's muddy, he's dirty, he's stinking. And everybody in the restaurant looks at him as if he's done something wrong and reprimands him and say, get out of my restaurant. You can't come in here like that. We got a dress code. You're supposed to follow the strict dress code. And so I just wanted everybody to see me as a human being. So not only did I speak about what I had endured, but I spoke about possibility. I told them, look at everything I had been doing since I got arrested. I've been studious with my time, taking copious notes, just voraciously reading anything I can get my hands on, but not just consuming information, but actually critically thinking, actually letting myself ask another question on top of a question and letting the answer from that be something that adjusts my behavior. So, I've been practicing cognitive behavioral therapy on my own in this inhumane environment.
Yeah.
I've been in here in this tiny room with these other people that I don't know and having to deal with them and their nonsense, deal with the pain of my memories, and deal with what I know the future is finna be, and still believing that, hey, I can be something different and I'm going to be something different. And so I'm choosing to take in this information and let it adjust me. And as it's adjusting me, give me a chance, give me the possibility to be back with humanity. See the humanity in me and give me a chance to be back in society. And I'm knowing that's not going to happen right then and there, but I'm just hoping that when it's all said and done, the record would reflect that we are finna throw away an asset, not a liability.
In all that 4 years of reading, had you read Viktor Frankl's book?
Yes, sir.
You had?
Yes.
Because the story's so parallel. And for people who don't know the Viktor Frankl story, he was in a concentration camp. And he said it occurred to him at some point that they can own your body. They can take away all your autonomy of your body, but they can't have your mind.
Exactly.
And you get to have some control over how you process and deal with even the worst scenario. And therein lies your remaining freedom.
Exactly. I loved the existentialists. I loved Viktor Frankl for, one, what he actually had went through. And The Measurement of Man is one of my top reads. And he basically was like, for the person that knows the why, he will figure out the how, some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? You want to survive, you will figure it out. You know what I'm saying? No matter if you're being starved, beat, or whatever. But I also love James Allen, Nietzsche, Dostoevsky, and even though they were racist, Heidegger and Hegel. I'm going to shout out Heidegger and Hegel and Kant. I got to also acknowledge they believe a person like me didn't have the capacity to think in a way I think. So, I had figured out that by that time, that it's power within choice. And I understood that the way I think affects the way I choose. So by that time, I realized all the power is within you. Is you can choose, and how you think affects how you choose. And so all the power is within you, no matter what these outside circumstances are. That's external. Pay attention to the internal. Know thyself, and you will be able to succeed. You will be able to excel. And so, I had my mind made up that with every choice was going to reflect a different person, and not only a different person, but somebody that was worthy of being a part of society.
Yeah. So this speech is so moving that the federal judge, Kevin Sharp, who had been appointed by Clinton, I think? Obama. Not immediately, but he's already not loving mandatory sentencing. Mm-hmm. He's very moved by you. He does not like having to dole out that sentence. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, this event, along with, I'm sure, other weight on his conscience, gets him to step down from a lifetime appointment federal judge and become an advocate against mandatory sentencing. Mm-hmm. What other things start happening that pave the way for your release?
Let me put it in context. A lot of people don't realize this man had to get appointed by a president. Like you said, you pointed out, Obama appointed him. But not only that, you have to get confirmed by Congress. So he jumped through a lot of hoops and hurdles to even get this job. Yeah. And he's like, you know what? I can't live with myself.
And you have it for life. Like, you're giving up permanent
and
security.
They can keep that job for forever until they die or retire. Yeah, you're right. Exactly. So I just wanted to make sure I point that out because I will always forever love Kevin H. Sharp. Yeah. That was a very courageous and brave act of him. And I'll forever admire and revere him and love him.
I mean, the integrity to do something like that.
Exactly. Because like Dax pointed out, you have security. You know this paycheck is coming.
Exactly.
You're giving up the ultimate security blanket.
Exactly. And prestige. And the sense of dignity that comes from identity. And
exactly.
He was one of them people that's like, the value of me is not tied up in that identity of being a judge. The dignity is tied up in me knowing that I have the power to choose, and with my choice, I'm going to choose to resign and speak out against what's going on. Wow. So not only did that lead to the freedom, but the media is a very powerful tool.
Yeah.
One of the journalists sent the article of Judge Sharp resigning and speaking about him wanting to get me released to an attorney in Dallas, Texas named Brittany K. Barnett. Mm-hmm. Brittany was a corporate attorney that was working on billion-dollar deals by day and at night working pro bono for free to help people that was incarcerated for drug charges. And then on the weekends, she was taking kids to go visit their mothers in prison.
What's wrong with her?
Exactly.
Something stinks.
Yeah, she's just doing so much.
I never met anyone that acted like that.
Exactly. I swear.
Hard to trust that person.
That's exactly how I said. I was in disbelief when I heard him resigning, and I thought, like you said, I was like, what does he benefit? I was like, I've never seen nobody do this. Yes. I've never seen nobody say, I'm going to care about the parent that's addicted to drugs or selling drugs and the child that's affected by their incarceration, while working my 9 to 5, So Brittany blew me away meeting her,
Monica, they're engaged.
No!
Monica loves that kid.
I love how you whispered into the mic. You've gotten too good at your job.
It should come out later, but I could tell it was going to really land with her in that moment. She just heard what an angel she is.
And this is a time for me to plug. You can read her book, A Knock at Midnight, where she speaks on freeing. Altogether, she's freed 77 of us that had life sentences for drugs, nonviolent offenses in federal prison for drugs.
How soon do you guys start falling in love? Yeah. Don't fucking lie, Chris.
Tell us the truth.
Immediately?
Oh, I fell in love as soon as I heard about it. Like,
I mean, this beautiful attorney who cares about me. I'm like, what?
Like you said, I had never met nobody so kind, and I come from a neighborhood where everybody is trying to get over on the next person. I had been spending my whole life looking for unconditional love. Didn't know I had it with Big Mama. Didn't know I had it with different people that was loving in the way that they knew how to love.
Your brother.
You know, my brother, exactly. So, but at the time of meeting Brittany, I'm just blown away and I'm smitten immediately. But she was very professional.
Yeah, but you got a good smile. I'll wear a woman down.
Thank you.
You can only see that smile so many times.
Thank you, Dax. It's funny though because everybody think I got veneers and I don't. These are my
you
natural
have
teeth.
perfect teeth.
The only tooth that's fake in my mouth is this front one. I broke it when I was 10. And I was so embarrassed for the next 3 years that I wouldn't even talk without covering my mouth. I wouldn't laugh without covering my mouth. And Mickey found out and he took me to the dentist and got my tooth fixed. Yeah. But by this time, I'm intoxicated with the streets. So I'm also selling drugs. And so then I got some gold teeth. But they was the pullouts. But back then, the pullouts wouldn't go to the mall and spend $50. They was $150 a tooth. But I said that because he complimented my smile. So thank you. And everybody think I got veneers, but literally only one tooth in my mouth is fake.
In the midst of all this, so you're getting media attention, and you have a lawyer now, and you have Kevin working in on your behalf in some way. So the fight for freedom has begun. You have one particular moment where you had to put in a clemency request, and you really thought this was going to be the one, yeah?
Yeah, I was laying there asleep, and the unit manager came and said, "Young," and immediately my mind kicked in. I'm like, this is it, I'm finna get it. Because Obama has started the Clemency Initiative, and that has, to date, released the most people through executive presidential clemency ever. He actually, at the time, had released more people through clemency than every president combined.
Wow.
And so I'm like, okay, I'm finna get it. Judge Sharp is speaking about me. Other articles are speaking about me. I'm like, ain't no way he ain't heard about me. But then once the unit manager told me, it got denied and everything came crashing down and I was sad. I have enough common sense and enough empathy to say, Obama's not reading nothing himself. He has so many people, everything has to go through before it touches him. Yeah. I was probably denied 10 people before he read or heard anything. Yeah. And so I never looked at it and took it personally because I understand the chain of command.
But it's uniquely heartbreaking when you let hope enter the scene. Mm. Like hope is this wonderful power and it's also so dangerous.
Yeah. It is intoxicating and I think is a drug that we all should be taking. So former Federal Reserve Chairman Arthur Burns said, hope is the greatest factor of the economy. If people don't believe it'll get better, they will never get up and try. And so I was getting up every single day and trying despite having 2 life sentences. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I was never going to lose it. You know, I give people the analogy, they be like, you had to believe that you was going to die in there. I'm like, nah. They was like, okay, well, if you didn't think you was going to die, you at least thought you was going to do 30 years. And I was like, nah. Just the way you wake up and you go to the bathroom and pee, when you're walking across that floor can collapse. If you live in a house or you live in an apartment, that floor is not directly on the ground. It can collapse. Even if it's on the ground, it can fall through. But you don't think that. You have faith and you believe that this floor is going to carry me to the restroom so I can pee. Mm-hmm. And that's how I was. I woke up every day and I'm like, I'm going to make decisions that's going to carry me to my release date, whenever that may come. And so you write that hope had came in and that hope can also let you down, but I was never going to stop having hope.
So then COVID happens. And that's also, you think you're already experiencing a terrible situation, but then obviously now solitary confinement starts entering the equation.
So to make the equation look worse than what it is, let me really put it in context for you. By this time, Brittany has introduced me to Kim Kardashian. And so not only do I have the most famous woman in the world speaking out on my behalf, Brittany had already been to the White House once with another advocate of mine, Doug Deason. And then also a second time with another advocate of mine, Mark Holden, who used to be general counsel for the Coke Industries. And then Kim enters the picture.
Koch brothers or Coca-Cola?
Koch brothers.
Yeah. Everything's all complicated, isn't it?
Yeah, 'cause I know what you're thinking, and I'm definitely thinking it too. Yeah, Mark's a great man.
Well, there's this incredible attorney. He has since passed, but this attorney, and I got to have dinner with him one time. Fascinating dude, a right wing guy. He tried the case in federal court to get Citizens United passed, which is a terrible bit of legislation. He also was the lawyer that got DOMA overturned and allowed gay marriages. You're like, oh wow, man, people are complicated.
I was just about to say, humans are complicated. Yeah.
And you can't write people off because you don't know if you're gonna miss the good side.
Exactly. Opportunities come. What you said, since we're on the topic, that's why the whole I don't like you because you're a Democrat, I don't like you because you're a Republican, I don't like you because you're gay. Like, that sounds crazy as hell to me, but to each his own.
Well, that's a luxury of people who don't have anything real on their plate, if I can be honest with you. You like, if you're trying to get out of a place, Brene Brown said this is like during the Katrina floods, when people were in a boat and they were holding their hand out to pull someone in the boat, no one said, oh, hold on, are you a liberal or a conservative?
Exactly.
Because something real was happening.
Thank you. Yeah.
And so you were dealing with something real.
You're right.
And I think to be so spun out about this other shit is a total luxury.
Yeah,
and almost says you got really no problems going on.
Yeah. I'm going to ignore the humanity in you because you believe in...
Because you grew up in the town you grew up in, dude. I can look at your fucking... at you, the zip code you were born in. I can tell with 85% accuracy what you think.
Unfortunately.
And yet we all think we've come to this independently through lots of scrutiny.
Yeah. But back to the story. So I'm being not only shipped to a new maximum security prison whose nickname is Bloody Beaumont.
Okay. Doesn't sound very promising.
I've just had my new attorney have 3 different meetings at the White House about me, the most famous woman in the world tweeting and posting about me, a judge who sentenced me speaking out about me, and then other advocates that are very prominent and influential. So I'm thinking release is on the horizon.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. I had to go to Bloody Beaumont, and not only was Beaumont what his name is, it was very violent, but Brittany won a very rare post-conviction motion, a 2255, which is a habeas corpus petition, and she won it.
She basically demonstrated your counsel was insufficient, right? Is that what it was?
Exactly. The lawyer who represented me at trial had admitted she didn't listen to all the wiretaps. And then had she listened to all the wiretaps, she would have known the weight of the evidence against me. And she was willing to admit this, and we really appreciate her for doing this.
Yeah.
I love how few resentments you carry or appear to carry.
Yeah, I appreciate her for that, And so her admitting this, it was a part of Brittany's motion, and less than 5% of these have ever been granted in American history. And so Brittany got my sentence reduced from life to 14 years. But I still had another 1.5 years, and like he said, COVID has hit. Yeah. So not only is it COVID, I've been at a violent prison that's been locked down because of violence, but then now we're locked down because of a rare, contagious pandemic that's going on. On top of that, okay, Chris, you don't have life no more. You're not maximum security no more. You're actually camp status, but we're not going to send you to a camp even though it's right across the parking lot. COVID is going on. We're just going to throw you in the hole.
Ugh.
So they put me in the hole, and the hole is why we call it that. It is literally the jail inside the prison, and it is very torturous. You can't see outside. There's no windows or nothing. You can't have commissary. And unfortunately for me, because I was technically a different security level, I couldn't have a cellie, and they put me in the only single-man cell they had, and it was flooded.
Oh,
and so literally it's like 3 inches of water in this cell.
Fuck it.
Exactly.
Ugh.
And, but dedication, determination, and discipline had got me where I was at, so I refused to give up my strict regimen and routine, which was waking up, I'm going to defecate, clean myself up, work out. After I work out, clean myself up, and then read. And so I'm doing push-ups in this flooded cell.
Oh, my God.
Not knowing I'm getting myself sick. I'm figuring I'm going to get sick, but I can't stop my routine because it's how I get through the days.
Yeah.
But you articulate, it is psychologically dangerous to be isolated like that, yeah?
Exactly.
I mean, you've been in some journeys in your head, I'm sure, that I can't really relate to.
Yeah, it's that's actually why I loved Hamlet so much when I finally read it. When I finally read Hamlet, I happened to be in the hole a different time for a different scenario, and that to be or not to be, I bounced it around for what it could mean or not mean so many different ways and so many different times for so many different days while I was going through that stint of being in the hole. Because, man, I really think he was questioning, am I a man or am I a coward? Am I a killer or am I not a killer? Should I be a killer? Should I not? Should I kill myself or should I kill my uncle? Like, the question can be perceived in so many different angles, in different ways.
Oh, man.
And you decide to start writing this memoir in there, yeah?
Yes. I was in the hole. And just like speaking at my sentencing speech, I wanted the record to reflect my humanity. And so no record can reflect it better than my own words.
Yeah.
So then, lo and behold, kind of shockingly, despite thinking you have probably 4 more years because your sentence has been reduced to 14 years, at 10 years in,
Yeah.
10 years.
How do we get to Trump? How does that final push happen?
Through the people closest to him, Miss Alice Marie Johnson, who Kim had advocated for before me, Ivanka, Jared. So, despite that family and what anybody might think of them, it was some people, a part of that family that really spoke up in my favor. And I really appreciate them.
Yeah.
And look at Miss Alice now. Miss Alice now is the first pardon czar in American history, despite serving 22 years herself and then getting released. And so, yes, that last push effort was by the people closest to him. They was like, you've been told about this case. We know about this case, and you're finna leave. And why not use the power that only the president has? Literally, only the president of the United States of America could put that pen to that paper and say, okay, this is completely forgiven. Let them go.
Yeah.
Where's the exact moment? I'm sure it's etched into your mind where you hear the news.
I can tell you play by play.
Yeah.
I'm in a better cell. I just got done doing my workout. Just took my shower, and I'm hungry. I am laying in the bed, cold and hungry, and waiting on the tray because there's no commissary in the hole, but we know what time of day they feed, and I am waiting on lunch. I need to stay occupied to keep from thinking about how hungry I am. So I pick up the most recent printouts that Brittany has sent me because I had asked her for specifically something I wanted to read about, and she sent it to me. And it was about gene editing, to be exact. So I'm reading about the gene editing, the latest progress with CRISPR and the other technologies.
Which, by the way, sickle cell, that's the end game that's the solution for sickle cells, CRISPR.
It is and it isn't. Because I have the SC version, if you remember at the beginning of the conversation, right now, because they're only in the trial stages and it's so expensive. It's $2 to $3 million per treatment.
Yeah. Wow.
They are only doing trial phases with the SS version and not the SC version.
Roger.
Despite my bones deteriorating, me having artificial hips, needing artificial shoulders, and my tailbone deteriorating too, I don't have that particular version. Right. So I don't meet the criteria to get
today.
But maybe one day, yeah.
Exactly.
But there was no technology that was even going to spell an end to sickle cell until that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And to fully put it into context, it's excruciatingly painful, and for decades, people have stereotyped and judged people with sickle cell anemia, believing they're just trying to get high. They just want pain medicine. They're drug seekers, as some doctors have actually phrased it.
Yeah.
And that is not the case. They're dealing with a level of pain that most people couldn't fathom, couldn't even begin to believe. If you've ever been shot or felt a tattoo or been hit by a car, multiply that. It might sound outrageous, but multiply that pain, and that is a sickle cell crisis.
And over your whole body.
Oh, thank you. Exactly. Exactly.
Not acute to anyone's place you could attempt to ignore or distract from.
So I'm sitting here reading about this, and as you can only imagine, wondering one day, will I get it? Will I be able to get my sickle cell eliminated? And I'm letting her read, and Lieutenant Franks, if you're listening to this, he's going to laugh and say, I remember it like it was yesterday, but Lieutenant Franks is a lieutenant at USP Beaumont, and he's a prankster, a jokester, for lack of a better word. He's a hard ass. He's one of them ones that's quick to lock you up, but he's also one of them ones that wants to crack jokes. If you can only imagine a person like that.
Yeah.
So he came to my door, and immediately I can tell he's like in a jovial mood. And he's like, Young, you want to go home? I'm like, what's up, Franks, man? Why don't play with me? I don't play with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I show you respect.
Take your joke somewhere
Exactly.
else.
Take your joke somewhere else.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm hungry. Where the trays at?
Yeah.
I was like, where the trays at? So he laughed and he was like, no, I'm serious. You want to go home? I'm like, Franks, who don't want to go home? Every person in this prison wants to go home, including y'all that's getting ready to go home when your shift ends. You want to go home right now too. And he was like, well, come on. I'm like, go on, Franks. And he laughed again, and he stuck the key in the door. So when he stuck the key in the door, I'm like, this is something that can get him fired. He ain't gonna play that hard, you know what I'm saying? And he turned it. I said, oh, shit. I jumped up out the bed, and so I go to the door. He said, you know you gotta cuff up. I said, you serious? He said, I'm serious, man. You finna go home. Wow. Man, I heard him and turned around. I couldn't believe it. I get to shaking a little bit. So I go and cuff up, but I still don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And then when they take me in the office and they say, you got to sign this. And when I look down at the paper, I seen that presidential seal is gold, is shining on the paper. And then I seen that D and that T. I mean, I was ecstatic. I was elated. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I thought this was over with. You know what I'm saying? They didn't let me go. Brittany had went to the United States White House 3 times in the year 2018. And I know for a fact my name was brought up all 3 times. Not to mention Kim bringing up my name. Not to mention Judge Sharp bringing up my name. And all the other advocates. And here it is, January 20th, 2021. And I'm looking down at a paper that is telling me to release me immediately. And I was like, man, like yes.
Wow.
Nervous system on max.
Holy shit, yeah. What
Best
a
feeling of your
moment.
entire life, maybe?
I will admit I've never felt a high like that. And I've only tried a few drugs, but, you know, no ecstasy, no marijuana, no Remy Martin could make me feel how I felt at that moment. And when I truly walked out the doors, like when I really felt that fresh air on my face and really saw Brittany standing in that parking lot. And to be fair, I'm feeling nothing but happiness at this moment. But Brittany helped me put everything into the equation. As we're driving, she was telling me, process it all the way. And I'm like, what you mean? Like, I'm smiling, I'm happy, I feel good. She was like, yeah, but that's the thing. Like, it's a range of emotions and don't run from them. Yeah. Embrace them all. And she said, do you want to hear some music? She know how much I love music. Yeah. I said, yeah. And she told the driver to cut on a song she knew I had always said I wanted to hear when I get released. And it was Lil Boosie's True Soldier. And the whole song is rapping about people in prison. And immediately I started crying. And I'm not talking about just a few tears down my face. I'm talking about that gasping for air, snot coming out your nose. Yes, exactly.
The nervous system letting down.
Exactly.
10 years later. My God.
And it wasn't just a cry for me. It was a cry for Big Mama. She had died while I was locked up. It was a cry for Mickey. He had died while I was locked up. It was a cry for my granddaddy. He had died while I was locked up. It was a cry for a few homeboys that got murdered while I was locked up. And it was a cry for the people I had to leave behind. Yeah. It was so many people I had just spent this decade with that I love and revere and look at like friends and family now. Yeah. And they still have life sentences, 35 years, 40 years. And I'm like, damn, I wish I could take y'all with me. I wrestled because I'm like, it's people that's incarcerated that didn't do nothing. Like literally didn't do nothing, but had people lie on them, whether it be the police officer or witness, and I did sell dope. You know, no ifs and a buts about it. I tried to sell as much crack and cocaine as I could get sold. Yeah. And I know that's destructive. And I accepted that I was causing harm. Mm-hmm. But I'm also getting showed empathy, sympathy, compassion. And so I had to wrestle a little bit because that dynamic of I did do something, but I didn't do nothing worthy of killing me. Like literally, I have a death sentence. Like I am supposed to stay in this cage until I'm pronounced deceased. That is crazy.
It's crazy.
So that's what helped me get over it too, because I'm like, I didn't do nothing worthy of dying. Even people, Brian Stevenson said, every person is worth more than the worst thing they've ever done, or something like that. I might be butchering this quote, but like, I know people that have murdered people and did less time. And I gave someone something they wanted.
Yeah.
True enough that substance was destructive.
Yeah.
But, you know, we didn't lock John Pemberton up. And, you know, he put cocaine in Coca-Cola for decades. And, you know, Albert Neiman, he was the first to isolate it. This is a plant that has been existing on Earth for a long time.
Yeah.
I didn't create cocaine, and I ain't bring no cocaine to this country, you know. And so I was blessed to get that level of empathy, sympathy, and compassion shown to me.
So you pretty immediately enroll at Southern Methodist? How soon before you enroll there?
I didn't enroll there until 2023. I started at Dallas Community College because I'm a non-traditional student. So basically, I'm above the age, and then I became a transfer student once SMU accepted me. So I was at Dallas Community College. I got enough credits where technically I can transfer, but I got to get accepted. And so when SMU mailed that acceptance letter, it was exciting. And that was 2023.
I think of you getting out of there is very similar also to returning from Vietnam, where it's like the arousal setting in there, the spidey senses, the amount of attention you got to be paying to everything going on. Did you feel a sense of like, after the elation passed and now you're in school, did you wrestle with boredom at all? Like you were feeling dead in the lack of stakes?
So, you know, boredom is a state of mind. I know you know that. And so I never let myself embrace that. The stimuli is different, though. I agree with you on that. And so it was definitely times where I'm in school and I'm like, I hate standardized education. And there's no disrespect to anybody that plays a part of that system. That is just me knowing that, like right now I'm reading Jacques Lacan and everything he propagated about his belief of the Borromean knot and how the consciousness is the real, the imaginary, and symbolic. And all of that comes together to make us who we are. But within that, as I'm reading it, it's going to mention somebody else he learned from, or it's going to mention something that stimulated him or made him think of something. I'm going to stop and go look at that.
Yeah. I love the breadcrumbs when you're
exactly.
reading.
Yeah.
But standardized education doesn't want you to do that.
Yeah, right.
It wants you to memorize what we just told you to memorize and choose the correct answer on this test. And so it was plenty of times where I was annoyed. It was plenty of times I was annoyed. And it was hard, but I will admit, walking across that stage this year, in May 16, 2026. But beyond walking across the stage, the love and support SMU showed me. Like, SMU really, once they found out about my story.
They were proud to have you.
Yes.
Yeah,
they showed me that.
cool,
And I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
I will be honest, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, that's
I appreciate
beautiful.
That's
that.
amazing. What did you major in?
Economics and public policy.
Oh,
the two things that affected me the most.
Yeah.
Being poor and the system set up that everybody needs to operate by. And if you don't operate by it, you will pay the consequences.
Yeah.
I forgot one part that was my favorite. When he gets out of prison, Kevin Sharp is there.
Yeah.
And you guys have this beautiful hug. You haven't seen each other since the courtroom, right?
Yeah. I hadn't seen Judge Sharp since he had to tell me I'm going to do a life sentence in prison.
Next time you see him, he's hugging you.
Not only hugging me, but crying. And so that is like, oh man, this man's serious. Like, he really was moved by speaking to me, by interacting with me, and he really wanted me free. And he showed me that, and I really appreciated that.
You know, the big headline of your life, which I hope you feel, is like, you're so worthy of love, dude.
Yeah.
You're so easy to love. A lot of people love you and want to love you.
And it's funny you say that, because Brittany had an event the night of my graduation, and that is what I spoke about. I had spoke about speaking on freedom and how I believe freedom is the ability to cognitively process and imagine, despite any circumstance, to be able to have this level of cognition and still see something different despite what's around you. But I got on stage and I spoke about unconditional love because I didn't realize it and fully process it, but I had been yearning for it, had been in search of it, had made terrible decisions hoping I was finna get it reciprocated to me, and finally got it shown to me when I wasn't even searching for it.
Yeah.
Oh, how beautiful. Oh my God. So inspiring. So incredibly inspiring. And like, there's just so many people still in there.
And I hope Congress, and I hope President Trump, and I hope anybody that has the power, specifically that person and that group, realizes that these are human beings.
Exactly.
Acknowledge their humanity and this system is not rehabilitative. That system is punitive.
It's punitive.
Yes,
yeah,
I know.
And if you just want to punish somebody and harm somebody, you're cruel. I don't care what you say, that's cruel.
It is.
But if you want to help somebody, acknowledge the power you have and help them.
I know.
And that system can be completely something different. You know, we have other countries doing it totally different,
know.
and we have the technology where we can do it different.
Yeah.
I mean, just on prima facie, there's no way we can have 2 million human beings sitting in cement boxes and think, yeah, we figured this out.
Preach.
You know,
Preach.
we're nailing
crazy.
this. There's no fucking way, dude. I mean, you're
Exactly.
talking about nearly 1% of the population's in prison is
Yeah.
fucking bonkers. And you look at the rest of the world and no one's close to that.
Exactly. And that's because it's a business.
Yeah, business / controlling undesirable socioeconomic people.
Go into it, Dax.
Let's put the white trash in there. Let's put the black folks in there. Let's put everyone that we'd rather not deal with or
Exactly.
see or have to. Yeah. Chris, you're awesome, dude. I'm really glad I got to meet you on this trip on planet Earth. You're so exceptional. The book is called The Wound is Where the Light Enters. It'll be out August 4th. It's a beautiful read. I hope everyone reads the book. Delight meeting you. Good luck with everything.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Oh, we should say if you need some consulting, Coherence Consulting is the company you own, yeah?
Thank you. I appreciate
What do you
that.
consult on?
Yeah, what is
So business management, but technically I want to speak on everything with critical infrastructure. It's not just an industry, it is the whole operating system that the civilization is running on, you know. So it'll span everything from civil engineering to cybersecurity.
Wonderful. Chris, be well. This was great. Thank you,
Yes,
man.
sir. Thank you.